I'm doing wonderfully, wonderfully well, sir. Good morning to you. And as I like to say, good morning, good morning, good morning. Great day, great day, great day. It is a great day to be alive. Welcome, 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 everybody. I'm Dr. Franco Taylor, and we're coming to you live with the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast here on WMPR 90.1 FM, broadcasting out of Jackson, Mississippi. And this morning, we've got some great information for you. I'll give you some information up front. If you need to call us, you can call us at 901-425-2273. That's 901-425-2273. You might want a consultation. You might have some questions about your health that have never been answered, but you can call us there. You can reach us, or you can go and see us on our website, which is www.rightstuffhealth.com, rightstuffhealth.com. Or you can reach me on my email, which is info@rightstuffhealth.com, info@rightstuffhealth.com. Today, we're going to talk about seven things. We're going to talk about what is health. We're going to talk about what is disease. We're going to look at the disease family. We're going to look at inflammation. We're going to look at NCDs, which is non-communicable diseases. We're going to look at contagious diseases. That's number 5. Number 6 is God's antibiotic. Okay, antibiotics and painkillers, and God's natural immunity. We're going to look at 7 things today, and we're going to try to bring in to view what's going on with this virus that's got the world turned upside down. Mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, everything is upside down because of this one little situation, this one little disease, this one little virus has caused so much upheaval in our lives. And it'll never go back to being what it was before, folks. So we're going to talk about that again. Welcome to the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast here on WMPR 90.1 FM on your radio dial every single Tuesday morning from 7 to 8. We'll be here broadcasting and bringing you the right stuff, I'd like to thank God for giving me these 41, almost 42 years on the planet of being a health evangelist. My wife for backing me up. I always say she loves me to pieces. I know it because she allowed me to deliver our children at home. I'd like to thank my children for supporting me, and like to thank all of you out there in radio land for backing and supporting this ministry that we have here on Right Stuff Helps. A gentleman came up on yesterday all the way from Jackson. He came to Memphis and had a consultation with us. Loved what went on, supporting us, and I hope more of you will do the same. But as we talk about 7 things this morning, we're going to touch on what's going on with COVID. We're going to touch on why it's hurting so many people, why so many people are dying. We're going to give you some information. But right now, please take notes. This information is great information. I know you're all smart. I know you're intelligent. I know you know a lot of stuff, but I'm telling you, there'll be some things here that you'll hear that you didn't know that could help you have a higher quality of life and help someone else to do the same. Please take notes and take time right now to go and tell someone else to get on the call. You've got someone you know that might take a break right now or just take a moment to get on the call to learn some of this life-changing information. All right. Well, this morning I said we're going to talk about 7 things. The first thing we're going to talk about is what is health. Now, you all know me, my greatest book, my study book, my homework book, the book that I do all my research is basically the Bible, the Bible. So if we go to the Bible to find out what is health, we find out in Exodus 15:26 that God says, if you'll diligently hearken to my word, keep all of my statutes, all of my judgments, and all of my commandments, I'll put a few of the diseases upon you no, he didn't say that. He said, I'll put none of the diseases. So if you keep all of my word, all of my commandments, I'll put none of the diseases upon you that I placed upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. So God says he does the healing, not the doctor, not Dr. Franco, not no one. the medicine, the slope doctor, the witch doctor. Nobody heals outside of God. And what God allows maybe someone to do to help in the healing, but the body is designed to heal itself. So health then, based on the word of God, is obedience to God's laws and his commandments, and not just the 10 commandments, but all of his natural laws. How do I know? Because the first commandment that he gave man, one of the first commandments he gave him when he created him in Genesis, the first chapter, was, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. So he's saying it shall be. In other words, I'm commanding you to eat fruits, nuts, and grains. Are you listening to me? And he later added vegetables to that. But a plant-based diet was the diet that God gave the perfect man and woman in the Garden of Eden. They were going to live forever, but they needed foodstuffs that would keep this powerful machinery running forever, because they were never supposed to die. So the fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables basically were forever food. Are y'all getting this? That's a powerful piece. In other words, God's medicine and God's food were on the same tree. Why is that important? Because there's a guy by the name of Hippocrates. He has what I call the hypocritic oath, okay? But Hippocrates says that your food should be your medicine and your medicine should be your food. Well, he said that, a century or so ago, but bottom line, God sent the word by Ezekiel 6,000 years ago telling me that the fruit on the tree would be my meat and the leaves thereof the medicine. So if man does something good, it's because he got it from God. So health then is obedience to all of God's law, even his natural laws. So what is disease? In Deuteronomy 28, verse 15, it tells us that if we're disobedient to his laws, all of his laws, then all these sicknesses and diseases will come upon us. So obedience to God's law, even his natural law, is health. Disobedience to God's natural law is what? Disease, sickness, and death. So let's look at the disease family. First of all, the father of disease. Y'all need to write this down. And as you look at it again, it'll make more and more sense to you. The father of all disease is indigestion. What is indigestion? You're bloating, you're burping, you're griping. Sometimes the food feels like it want to come back up. Your bowels are locked up. All that means that you didn't get that food. What is indigestion? No digestion. If you don't digest your food, what happens to it? It stays in your stomach. It rots, it ferments, it putrefies, it turns into morbid, rotted, filthy material that's being reabsorbed into your system, into the organs. So then where does disease come from? It comes from having a place to breed. Where does it breed? And all this filth that's not being digested, and it's just sitting there. So if it sits long enough, if the father of disease, the father of all disease, I'm saying, is indigestion. Listen to me carefully. We're looking at the family of disease. The father is indigestion. Well, guess what? The mother is what? Constipation. Because if you stay full of this waste material long enough, it's going to clog up the colon and you're going to have constipation. Well, Dr. Franco, I don't have constipation. I have diarrhea. Diarrhea is a form of constipation. Listen to me, because in diarrhea, mainly water is coming out. No bowel is coming out hardly. So it's still a form of constipation. I hope you hear me. This is just when it's almost like gastroenteritis, when the stomach is just completely blocked up. This food's not coming out the way it's supposed to. It's not being digested. So it's staying in the system, setting up a breeding ground for disease. So if the father of disease is indigestion, no digestion, the food's just sitting there rotting and fermenting, it sits long enough, it becomes constipation. That's the mother of all disease. Because if you check anyone that's sick, if they're in the hospital, been in there for a week or two or three, you ask them when the last time they had a bowel movement. In most cases, they'll probably tell you several days, a week, even weeks, because the mother of all diseases is constipation. So if you got a father and you got a mother, what comes from that? What's the spawning? What comes out of that? Well, the offspring is your sicknesses and your diseases, mainly inflammation. So inflammation can be one of the main offspring, or it can be the first cousin, okay? We're talking about the family of disease. the father is indigestion, the mother is constipation. And out of that, the offspring is all these diseases that the physician's desk reference have thousands and thousands of diseases, and they've got thousands and thousands of drugs to go with each one of those diseases. So they got you in an influx. I mean, they got you all jacked up, shackled into the drug situation. And the drug, I'm not knocking the system. I'm simply saying it's you who have chosen to be a part of that merry-go-round of drug in, drug out, drug in, drug out, and you're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So the father of disease, indigestion, mother is constipation, and the offspring or the baby is disease, especially inflammation. So we can make inflammation the first cousin in the disease family. So what is inflammation? Well, it's a localized physical condition in which part of the body becomes reddened, swollen, hot, and often painful, especially as a reaction to an injury or infection. So when we're talking about some of these diseases, we're talking infection, we're talking inflammation. Sometimes it can lead to coughing, as we find, coughing and sneezing, as we find in this COVID thing. But again, let's look at this inflammation. We find that inflammation is the main cause of NCDs. And we'll come into something, so pay attention to what we're saying. Pay attention, close attention, take notes. NCDs are non-communicable diseases. That means you can't pass this on to someone else. It's not contagious. So now let's look at some of the top. You've got out of the top 10 killer diseases, seven of them are NCDs. Listen to what I'm saying. 7 of them are non-communicable. What are some of these 7? Well, let me give you the top 4, because the top 4 are killing people. So it's crazy. Cardiovascular. Well, let's do it this way. Let's look at something else. NCDs, or non-communicable diseases like high blood, diabetes, all that kind of stuff, is killing over 41 million people annually. How many did I say? 41 million people annually. Okay. And that's 71% of the global deaths, the worldwide deaths. 71% of them are caused by NCDs, or non-communicable diseases. 7 out of 10. Now, let's look at that 7 out of 10. Let's take the top 4 of those 7. The top 4 of those 7 are cardiovascular disease, 17.9 million deaths a year. Cancer, 9.3 million. We're talking over 41 million, 9.3 for cancer, 9.3 million dying globally every year from cancer. These are non-communicable diseases. Respiratory or lung diseases like the SARS grabs hold, okay, acute respiratory disorder. Bottom line, we're looking at 4.1 million people are dying from lung disease. They can't breathe. Congestive heart failure, lung failure, 4.1 million. And then diabetes, number 4, 1.5 million a year. Add it all up, and we've got 41 million people dying from these deaths. And the top 4, cardiovascular, cancer, respiratory, and diabetes, counts for over 80% of all premature NCD deaths, or non-communicable disease deaths. So we've got 7 out of the 10 killers are non-communicable diseases. And the top 4, cardiovascular, cancer, respiratory or lung, and diabetes, count for over 80% of the deaths. So now these are what we call underlying conditions, folks, especially when you talk about something called COVID. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me. We're going somewhere. For those of you who have just joined, my name is Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. Get a pen and paper out. Take notes. Go call somebody. Tell them to get on this call. We're talking about life-changing information. Again, I am Dr. Franco Taylor. You can call us at 901-425-2273, or you can reach us on our website at www.rightstuffhealth.com, or you can reach me on my email, info@rightstuffhealth.com. We're talking about 7 things. We're talking about NCDs, non-communicable diseases. We're talking about 7 out of 10 killer diseases are non-communicable, and 4 out of 10, cardiovascular, cancer, respiratory, and diabetes, are over 80% of the causes of premature death with these folks who have these non-communicable diseases. But when we look at COVID, we're going somewhere, folks. When you look at COVID, you find that for the most part, COVID basically, it's a mild to moderate symptoms with self-limiting respiratory illness. So it's not that bad for most people, okay, for most people. But for the severe cases, which is what we're hearing all this clamor about, the severe cases all have underlying conditions. Are you listening to me? Especially the top four: cardiovascular, cancer, respiratory, diabetes, okay, high blood pressure, hypertension, congestive heart failure, lung failure, all of these top four, and then you add the other three to it. Those 7 non-communicable diseases are the underlying factors that cause the severity with COVID. Whoa, are you listening to me? So the severe cases of COVID are based on underlying conditions such as these non-communicable diseases. So again, we're talking about aged people, old people, people with hypertension, diabetes, obese people, okay, cardiac diseases, pulmonary diseases, lung, respiratory, and cancer. Those are the underlying factors that are causing these people to be so severely knocked down by the COVID and dying. Are you listening to me? Wow. If you have no underlying conditions, you'll have none to mild symptoms of COVID. Are you listening to what I'm saying? The top 10 killer diseases, 7 of them are NCDs, and all 7 of those are preventable. How do I know that? The Cancer Society, the Heart Foundation, Diabetes Association, all of them come together. Dementia, Alzheimer's, all of them said if you would eat a certain dietary, certain food, all those diseases would go away. The top medical associations have said it themselves. The WHO, the World Health Organization, all of them have told you, you just didn't hear it. They told you if you ate a plant-based diet, in other words, if you took the command that God gave us when we began this talk this morning, when we began the program, we told you that health was obeying God's laws, even his natural laws. And the first one that he gave was eating fruit, nuts, grains, and then he added vegetables to it. So if the system is telling you that your diseases would go away if you had a plant-based diet, duh, what are we saying? We're saying that God gave you prescriptions in the beginning, and if you kept them, you wouldn't be sick. But you disobeyed them whether you knew it or not, and guess what? You got sick. A lot of you got sick, diseased, and actually died. So what are we saying here? We're saying that you must eat live plant-based foods in order to build your body to the point where it can fight, if you hear what I'm saying. Now, is that enough? Well, I say no. Why? Because man has destroyed the earth with all this industrial revolution. He's actually destroyed the air. He's destroyed the water. He's destroyed the ground. So even if you eat organic plants, guess what? They don't have the strength. They don't have the efficacy. They don't have the power that they once had. So therefore, you need some supplementation. You need some supplementation. But there's always a but in there. But the problem is that 9 out of 10 of the supplements over the counter are what? They just don't work. They're synthetic. They're man-made. The nutritionists at Johns Hopkins Hospital, the largest organization, institution for healing, for cancer and all this kind of stuff, the biggest research, all the millions and billions of dollars go basically to Johns Hopkins. And their nutritionists say that 9 out of 10 of the multimineral vitamins and so forth that you buy on the market are what? Synthetic. And even the lactobacillus acidophilus, all of these, you're going and trying to get you some probiotics and so forth, all of them are grown on cheese. Are you listening to me? They're grown, the mold, that basically it's mold, but these cultures, okay, these bacteria, so-called healthy bacteria, are grown on cheese Are you listening to me? For those of you who don't want dairy in your diet, just think about that. And a lot of you don't want hog in your diet, but most of the insulin is hog insulin. I'm going to leave that alone for another time, but I'm just hoping that your eyes wide shut, folks. You're running from the tiger and running straight into the bear's arms. You're jumping out of the frying pan straight into the fire. Isn't it about time that we got the right stuff? You got to wake up, everybody. You got to wake up. We got to start looking ahead. We can't look back anymore. You can't go with what you thought was right. You got to get some new ideas. And where do you get them? Right here on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. So we're talking about if all the vitamins that you're taking and that you have in your cabinet are synthetic, they're man-made, that's a horrible state of affairs. A horrible state of affairs. Doom, disaster on us. We don't have any hope. I mean, what are we going to do? There's no hope for the masses of people if the only hope we have is some help with these multimineral vitamins and supplements, and they're all man-made. So now maybe you can see why I say, why Right Stuff? Why Sankey? Okay, why now? Simply because we're talking about plant-based nutrition, okay? But before we go there, let's do just a little something else here. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about we'll stay where we are. Sankey and Right Stuff Health. Right Stuff Health, we have something. Our main product is called Clean Sweep Colon Broom. You would never wax your car without doing what? Cleaning it first. You would never wax your floor without cleaning it first. Okay, you wouldn't start spraying cologne and antiperspirants or whatever deodorants on your body until you've done what? Washed it first. So cleaning is important. So if you're going to start a new regimen, a health plan, or whatever you're going to do, you need to clean up first. You need to clean out those bowels. You need to clean out that colon. And that is what this formula is designed to do. It is called Clean Sweep Colon Broom. We designed this product roughly 35 years ago. Almost 4 generations of people have used this formula. They've gone and tried other things, but they always come back and say, Dr. Franco, there's nothing like Clean Sweep Colon Broom. What it does, it gives you a nice, clean, smooth move. I mean, bulky move. Sit down and you feel that commode up, okay? I'm laughing because if you're not careful, boy, you have to raise up to keep it from coming to get you. Now, I'm giving you a picture because that's the way it should be. Everything that goes in that's not used in your body, out of all the food you eat, the nutrition in that food amounts to what can fit in the palm of your hand. The actual nutrition that your body's going to get to work with, to give you energy, to heal your body, to give you thought pattern, to give you the energy that you need, it fits in the palm of your hand. So if you've got 2 or 3 big helpings, plates of food, where's the rest of it? It's bulk, it's waste, and it needs to come out of the body. So if you're not eating enough fiber, you need our fiber. It is designed to do that. It has 3 or 4 different types of fiber. Okay, it has psyllium husk in it. It's got slippery elm in it. It's got oat bran in it. It's got about 4 of the most powerful nutritive fibers out there. We put anise, fennel, and ginger in it to do what? Take off that bloating and that griping and that flatulence and that gas passing that happens. It has a licorice root to act as a natural cortisone to help with the pain that comes when the bowels don't move quite like they should. So not only does it help with bowel movements, but it helps to reboot, retoot, soothe, and heal the whole entire system of your colon, starting at your digestive and eliminating tract, starting at your mouth and ending at your anus. That is the largest organ in your body, and it needs to be clean. It needs to be soothed. It needs to be healed, and it needs to work the way that it's supposed to. And that's what the Clean Sweep Colon Broom will help you to do. But now we want to talk about some things, and we'll show you the formulas that help that to happen too. Again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. Every Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock to 8. It's 7 o'clock to 8. We're going to talk about the right stuff. So we're talking about formulas that have something in them, and I'm going to come back to that, but I'm going to do this. Let's talk about our formulas that come from Sankey. Sankey is a company that God has blessed me to become the medical director for. Sankey Global USA is a worldwide company, over 51 years in existence. The formulas have been around for over 50 years. They've been available in the United States for the last year and a half. But for those first 50 years, well, for the last 10 years prior to this year, they were available overseas. They were in Japan and they were in Spain and places like that. And the doctors over there, thousands and thousands of doctors, literally gave, I won't say prescribed, but they disseminated, they dispensed these formulas. There are three formulas actually with the Sankey family. We've got the Belage, we've got the Quinu, and we have the Inner 7, which is all the minerals that the body needs. But let me just talk about these just a little bit, and then we'll end up talking about the Belage, because we've got something out here. We're talking about natural immunity. Remember, we said we're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about disease. We talked about inflammation. Inflammation is that. We talked about what it was, all the reddening, all the swelling, all the pain, all the puffiness that comes when the body gets inflamed like that. We talked about NCDs, which are the non-communicable diseases. Now we're going to talk a little bit about one that's contagious. We're going to talk about the COVID, okay? We're going to talk about the COVID. And the bottom line is that we find that with this COVID, okay, most of the people that have the severe attacks of it have the NCDs. We want to make sure that you saw that, and that those NCDs, those non-communicable diseases, were actually preventable if you ate the way God commanded in the beginning. Are you getting this? It's so simple that it becomes complicated to you. Okay, it's just that simple. So let's look at something. Let's look at something that you'll find in most of the formulas from Sankey. We have the Belage, we have the Quinu here. They both have something in them called olive leaf. I tell you about olive leaf. Olive leaf has been around for thousands, at least 6,000 years, because when the ark landed, okay, in the Bible, when the ark landed, a bird flew over to Noah. And what did the bird have in his beak? It was a dove, and he had an olive leaf. So that says that olive trees have been around for at least 6,000 years, okay? So why is that important? Simply because the vegetables and fruits that we eat give us our vitamins and our minerals. Are you listening to me? Our body takes the nutrition that comes out of the vegetables and fruits and nuts and grains that we eat, and it pulls out its vitamins, and it also does what? It helps to turn what they find in there and take these minerals and use them in the body. So the body, your microbiome that starts at your mouth and ends at your anus, we're talking about your digestive tract and your elimination tract, literally takes the nutrition and makes from that your vitamins and takes from that your minerals that the body needs. Are you listening to what I'm saying? And because we said that the ground and the land and the air has been messed up by man, we have to have some supplementation. But our supplementation needs to be what? Plant-based, because 9 out of 10 of the ones out there on the market, the multi-mineral vitamins are what? The supplements are all synthetic or man-made, and they don't work. They set you up for even more sickness, more disease, more side effects, even more cancer. Are you listening to what I'm saying? They drive the body down instead of building it up. But now we're going to look at these formulas from Sankey. All of the Sankey formulas, listen to me carefully, have what is called the nanotechnology. That means that they're so small and so minuscule, the ingredients, that they go straight through the blood-brain barrier and straight through the cell walls at the microcellular level. Folks, this is deep. This is deep. I prayed for 41 years for a company that would take its millions of dollars in all of its research and would put it into formulas that would help the body to heal itself. And that's what I found a year and a half ago when my daughter called me and said, "Dad, I know what you're all about. I know what you've been doing for 41 years. I found the company that's going to be the answer to your prayers and to your dreams." And sure enough, she flew me down to Florida. I met with these people, and I never turned around since. It's been on like popcorn, as the young folks say. It's a powerful piece when your dreams are answered. This gentleman, Dr. Bahia Diaz, the scientific director, medical director, had worked on these formulas for 40 years before he even released one. He released the Belage after 40 years of research and development, because it wasn't about the money. It was about it working to help do what? Bring a higher quality of life. To do what? To help the immune system fight, to help the organs do what they're supposed to do, to help the mitochondria to beat the way they were supposed to give us the energy that we need for all the processes of the body. What did he base it on? He based it on the people in Japan who were still living to be in excess of 100 years old. They still had strong eyesight, strong voices, strong muscular bodies. Although they were small of frame, they were strong of body, mighty strength. They had the power, and they didn't have diabetes. They didn't have cancer. They didn't have heart problems. They weren't obese. Are you listening to me? He looked at them and he saw that they did something. They didn't do a lot of handshaking, okay? They would do this and bow to you. But the bottom line is he saw that they ate a lot of fermented foods. And those fermented foods are exactly what your body does, the microbiome in your digestive tract, in your gut. All those trillions of bacteria, microbes, literally do what? They break down the foodstuffs that come into your body. They cause them to ferment. That's where your real probiotics come from. Are you listening to me? They come from the prebiotics, all these cruciferous vegetables. And when they're broken down, you get your probiotics. Are y'all getting this? The body makes your probiotics. Time out. Let me give you a little something. You got to get this. This is so deep. Everybody says that vegetarians and vegans don't get B12. Duh. You think God didn't know and he left out one vegetable out of the whole alphabet? A, B, C, D, all these different things, but he left out the B12? Oh, come on. When you wake up in the morning, remember, we're talking fermentation to get all these vitamins, all these minerals, all these enzymes, all these metabolites. They have to be fermented because the body, the gut microbiome breaks them down. Well, you wake up in the morning, you got some stuff on your teeth that looks like butter, okay? It's a little thick stuff on your teeth. And boy, you say, ooh, I got to hurry up and brush this off. Don't brush it off. Leave it there and go ahead and eat. Because guess what it is? It's vitamin B12. The body took the food that you ate the night before and it fermented it and it stayed on the teeth. So in the morning when you wake up, that in the old days, people didn't brush their teeth. Animals don't brush their teeth the next morning. They wake up and they go ahead and they eat because your teeth have they're slightly concave. So when you bite into the apple, what are you doing? You're kind of brushing your teeth. Are you getting what I'm saying? And you're taking in the fermentation, which is the B12. This is so deep, it's scary, folks. I hope y'all are listening. Vitamin B12 is on your teeth every morning. So in the morning, I know they don't want to have dragon breath or whatever, but the actual vitamins necessary for the body that your body has made the way God designed it for it to do would be in your first bite of your apple, your peach, your plum, or whatever. You're going to get it in there. Then you can brush your teeth after you eat. I hope you hear that. I'm not trying to cause a disturbance, just trying to give you natural health the way God designed. There were no apothecaries. There were no drugstores with toothbrushes and toothpaste back in that day. And on one of these occasions, we're going to talk about toothpaste and why it's so deadly. We're going to talk about that too. What's in it that makes it deadly that you're not even paying attention to? We're talking eyes wide shut. This is Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on WMPR 90.1 FM with the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. Why right stuff? Because you've been doing the wrong stuff, eating the wrong stuff, drinking the wrong stuff, looking at the wrong stuff all your life. Isn't it about time that you got your hands on the right stuff? Again, you can call us at 901-425-2273. You can reach us on our website, www.rightstuffhealth.com, or you can get in touch with us by way of our email address, which is info@rightstuffhealth.com. We're talking 7 things. What is health? What is disease? Inflammation, NCDs, non-communicable disease, contagious diseases such as COVID. And then we're going to look at God's antibiotics and painkillers and God's natural immunity. We're coming into that as we go right about now. So we're looking at we're talking about the Sankey products, the Belage, and the Sankey product called Crenui. And also we have one called Inner 7, which is our minerals. But the bottom line, they contain a couple of ingredients. We're going to talk about those couple of ingredients. One of them is rosemary. Wow, rosemary. I said olive had been around a long time, but rosemary had too. And rosemary is a phytochemical, and it has something in it called rosmarinic acid. It's called rosmarinic acid. You can Google it. You can look it up. And this rosmarinic acid inside of the rosemary 10 to 20% camphor. Camphor, that's right. Camphor has been used for a long, long, long time, many years, many generations for what? Chest congestion. Ream that chest. What is it that COVID does mainly? It's called acute respiratory syndrome. It attacks the what? The breathing apparatus, the nose, but especially the lungs, which cuts out your ability to do what? Breathe and get in oxygen. And that's why people are succumbing. They can't breathe. They can't get oxygen. Everybody's putting them on ventilators. They can't breathe. Are you listening to me? So we know that the camphor does what? It breaks up that congestion in his chest, in the chest. Let's look at it. The rosemary is also something. That rosmarinic acid is also anti-inflammatory. Are y'all getting me? It gets rid of what we talked about a minute ago, the inflammation, which caused the swelling, which caused the reddening, which caused the pain and congestion. Are you getting me? We've got something inside of this formula called Balage and and Crenui that actually destroys and breaks down what's attacking the lung. So it's helping the body. It's helping to build the immune system so the body can actually do what? Get rid of what is happening, what's trying to grab your chest. You find out again that the rosmarinic acid is anti-UVC damage. It helps to get rid of overactivity or over effects of too much sunlight. It helps with pain. Rosmarinic acid is also anti-inflammatory for autoimmune disease. Powerful. And we're going to talk about something in just a minute. But let's look at the olive leaf for just a minute. Inside of the olive leaf is something called oleuropein. And it is the major ingredient. It is called a saccharidoid, and it is basically a phytochemical. And this ingredient has the actual olive has over 95 different compounds, but this saccharidoid or this oleuropein, when extracted, acts as a very wide spectrum natural antibiotic. Are you listening to me? This oleuropein has been proven to act as a wide spectrum natural antibiotic. It does some things. It helps the body to literally break down and disseminate and disintegrate infection. Okay, it helps with the inflammation. It helps with what? The inflammation. It helps with what? The inflammation, which is the biggest problem with the NCDs, which is the biggest problem with the non-communicable diseases, is inflammation. And so we're looking at olive leaf with oleuropein that actually does what? Helps the body by building the immune system, building our Eden and natural killer cells to where they can eat up this inflammation, destroy it, take the swelling, the redness, the congestion out of the body, and the body begins to do what? Heal itself. So it can be used for diabetes and hypertension, because both of them, we know there's lots of inflammation with those two diseases, okay? It acts as an antioxidant. It acts as an antibacterial. What does that mean? Antibacteria. It helps the body to do what? Destroy the bacteria, the bad bacteria. And antimicrobial. It helps the body do what? Work on the bad microbes in the body. Anti-inflammatory, we said, and and immune stimulator. It stimulates the immune system, the T cells, the B cells, the helper cells, okay? The macrophages, the natural killer cells. It helps them to boost and build and be fed and regenerated so that they can begin to work the way God had designed them to do, where they would destroy any invader that came into the body. So we're looking at some powerful products here. We're looking at green tea. Green tea is also one of the ingredients. And by the way, the olives, the rosemary, the green tea, the cacao, the black bean, all of these powerful ingredients in our formulas are grown on our own farms. Are you listening to me? There's no third party here. That means that this is powerful stuff. The oleuropein from the olives, those olive trees have been bought. Some of them are 2,500 years old, coming out of Spain. Are you listening to me? 25. That means that they have evolved. That means that the metabolites and the bacteria on these trees, in the fruit, on the fruit, is so powerful and so strong that it can destroy the onslaught of any invader, any bad microbe, any bad bacteria, any virus. It's just that strong. Just as the virus has evolved over periods of time, so has God's immune system, because God's immune system was around long before there was a virus. I don't know if you hear what I'm saying. Long before there was sin, sickness, disease, and death, there was a living body designed to live by God forever with an immune system intact, put in, that worked to destroy any invader, including virus. Are you listening to what I'm saying? So again, this is Dr. Franco Taylor here with me on WMPR 90.1 FM with the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. We're talking about natural immunity. We're talking about natural painkillers. We're talking about natural antibiotics, and they're to be found in the Sankey family. We've got the Sankey family here. We've got the Balage. We've got the Cranui, and we got the Inner Seven. So let's just talk a little bit more about what we've got here. Again, if you're talking about antibiotics, if you're talking about natural immunity, we got to see that the rosmarinic acid and the oleuropein do something, especially the rosmarinic acid. It works as an anti-inflammatory. It helps when the body sends out mucus in order to soothe irritations, and this mucus can become thick and inflamed, and it becomes your inflammation. If you hear what I'm saying, that's the body really trying to take care of itself. But in some cases, if it's weak, if you haven't been eating right, living right, then it doesn't get the message, and it'll send out too much inflammatory cascades, just mounds and mounds and buckets of inflammation are shot into the cells, which can wipe out the cells. And even your white cells, your killer cells, do something. They send out what is needed. They'll send out certain cells that'll go, macrophage, that'll go and eat up an invader. They send out others that'll surround the invader. They'll send out a natural killer cell that'll attack the invader, the virus or whatever it is, and shoot all kinds of poisonous material, natural poison, into the invader, into the virus, into the fungus, into the microbe, to destroy it. And so the body has all these different weapons that it uses, but sometimes it gets confused because the immune system is down, because the NSAIDs, but the NCDs, which are the non-communicable diseases, are there. The underlying functions, the underlying problems are there, weakening the body, so the cells don't communicate the way they're supposed to. And sometimes these T cells that send out this cytokine storm will send it out when it's not necessary. Sometimes the T cells will send out white cells to destroy when there's no need to, because of miscommunication, and that is when the body destroys itself. But we're talking about ingredients in the oleuropein, ingredients in the rosmarinic acid that help actually to keep the cytokine storm from being released by the activated T cells by causing them to do it just right. It prevents the T cell activation when it is not needed. Are you listening to me? It helps to regulate these Treg cells, these regulator cells that are formed and that are built and that are, strengthened by the ingredients inside of the Balage, the oleuropein, and the rosmarinic acid. It strengthens them to the point where they do exactly what they're supposed to do. They help to reduce pain, natural cortisone, if you hear what I'm saying. It promotes anti-inflammatory mediators that go out to help the body to reduce the inflammation, which reduces the swelling, reduces the pain, reduces the inflammation, so that you can begin to breathe again. Are you listening to me? We're talking about natural immunity. We're talking about natural, widespread, wide spectrum antibiotics that the body does itself when you give it what it needs. And we're talking about 3 formulas here that the body needs. Therefore, with these promoting anti-inflammation in the body, it therefore protects the lungs, the vasculature, which is the arteries, the veins, and so forth in our heart, and it helps to reduce pain naturally. It's anti-cancer, and it's even chemo-preventative. Are you listening to what I'm saying, folks? We're talking about natural ingredients in these powerful, powerful plants that we grow ourselves with the nanotechnology, which means that it has like 14,000 trillion nanoparticles with antioxidants that help to do what? To rebuild and put in all the enzymes, all the natural metabolites that are needed for the body. The metabolites give you energy. They help the mitochondria to beat. The metabolites help to remove disease and replace disease cells and remove the ones that are no longer working. The dead cells are removed. And this happens when your body is doing what it's supposed to do. So what am I saying here? I'm saying we've got three formulas. I'm going to deal with the inner seven. The inner seven basically are minerals from the sea, 3.5 miles, 321 meters down in the Okinawa Ocean. They're down there with all these vegetation, these anemone, these urchins, these sea vegetables that have evolved. Some of them are 300 or more years old. They've evolved with all these metabolites, and these metabolites come into our formulations. Actually, the Belage has over 300 metabolites in it per dose. So what are we talking about? The inner seven has all 60 of the minerals that the body needs. It's in that same nanotechnology, so they can go straight through to the bones, straight through to the brain, straight through to the cells to replace damaged tissues at the microcellular level, straight in to give the body the minerals that it needs, where we have all this demineralization, all this loss of minerals, loss of bone, so forth. With the inner seven, you can rebuild. And it's called inner seven because it helps the body to do what? Reach that 7.5, that homogenesis, that basis, that what I call it when it's doing AUTOmatic. It's doing what it needs to do. It heals you. It gives you energy. It allows you to rest. It helps the immune system to do its work. It does that when it's at 7.5. And this has helped to happen with the inner seven. So again, we're talking about formulas that are designed to help the body to do what? Heal itself. Let's talk about the Belage for just a minute. Well, the Crenui. The Crenui basically it's got cacao, black bean, along with the rosmarinic acid and the leuropene from the olive and the rosemary. But basically, it does what? It causes thermogenesis. It causes the body to actually burn up those sugars and those starches, heavy starches, and those caramelized fats. It helps the body to burn them up, turn them into immediate energy. And at night, the reason it's called Chronu, we're talking about the chronology of the body, and Nui simply means night. At night, when the body normally would pull out all this, put it into the bloodstream, and you'd wake up in the morning with high blood pressure, you wake up with your sugar level up, wake up with your waistline getting big, because this formula is designed in that nanotechnology to break down these fats and these sugars and turn them into immediate energy. It turns some of this waste stuff into energy, and then it doesn't dump it into the immune system, into the bloodstream, so it passes out of the body and wake up in the morning with your sugar level down, your blood pressure level down, and your body, the fat being burn up off the body. You're listening to what I'm saying. We're talking about the Crenui. Works at night, powerful product. Again, and all of the ingredients, the cacao, the black bean, which is very, very high in fiber, which means that when your food is going through, your nutrition is going through your body with the fiber mixed in, it doesn't dump in all at once. So the sugar level doesn't go up, the blood pressure doesn't go up and spike. Instead, everything stays on a level. Are you hearing what I'm saying? These formulas were designed. It took them all in excess of 40 years in development. Over 10 years, they've been available now. And for the last year and a half, they're available in the United States. God bless me to become the medical director for Sankey. I am the COO. My wife is the CEO of Right Stuff Health and Wellness Center out of Memphis, Tennessee. And our formula, the top fiber product in America, has been for almost 4 generations. And then the Sankey formulas, 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 of the most powerful formulas for helping the body to heal itself on the planet. No accident. God delivered these things over 41 years of research, development, and experience with all the sicknesses, all the diseases. God has given me the opportunity to work with maybe 16 to 17,000 people in these 41, almost 42 years. Everything from helping them to lose weight, gain weight, get rid of high blood, diabetes, cancer, even full-blown AIDS and COVID. We've been blessed in the last year and a half to work with maybe 20, 22, 23 families, some of our own personal relations, and watch them get better from COVID. We didn't heal them. They got better when they changed their diet and when they used things like the colon broom, the Balage, okay, and the Inner 7. They use these, and if they had underlying symptoms like high blood and diabetes, they use all of the formulas, and we watch them get well. 8 to 14 days, we've seen COVID turned around. We didn't turn it around. The individuals turned it around themselves when they used a plant-based diet and plant-based supplements. They had all natural immunity. Are you listening to what I'm saying? They had all natural, widespread, wide spectrum antibiotics that God designed back when he created man. We're just going back to the garden, back to Eden, and back to the future. Why? Because this is the future for man, is what Sankey has done. I've done it, worked on it for 40 years, Sankey over 50 years, and together we put together a package that says that you can't lose with the stuff we use. We've got formulations that will help your body to restore, reverse, and recover itself. Not heal it, but help it to do what God designed for it to do, because you're giving it what God commanded in the beginning, which was the fruits, the nuts, the grains, and the vegetables in the form of food and in the form of plant-based supplements. Only supplements on the planet that have the nanotechnology. Only supplements on the planet, only formulas that have taken almost 50 years to get them to where they are now. Only ones on the planet with the nanotechnology, the only ones that were formulated to help your body do what your body needed to do, to bless it, to build it so that it can do the repair that it needed to do, so that it can give you the energy, and so that that immune system, that wonderful immune system that God placed in your body with all those millions and trillions of lymphocytes, leukocytes, phagocytes, macrophage, natural killer cells, all of those, all of that powerful battalion, army, homeland security was designed to be fed where God said it should be fed. And that's what we teach you here at Right Stuff Health. We teach you how to help that body have what God intended, with a plant-based diet, plant-based supplements, with powerful, powerful prerequisites around it that don't exist anywhere else on the planet. So here you get the right stuff. And like I always like to say, you can't lose with the stuff that we use. So again, you can call me, Dr. Franco Taylor, or my assistant. You can call us at 901-425-2273. Or you can reach us on our website at www.rightstuffhealth.com. And you can reach me through my email at info@rightstuffhealth.com. You gotta want to know how to do better. You gotta want to get your hands on natural immunity, natural widespread and wide spectrum antibiotics. That's right. The body is designed to heal itself. And we've got formulas in excess of 40 years, 50 years of research and development. No one else out there can claim that, can make that claim. We're not healing anything, but we've taken the time to design formulas that will do what? That will actually help the body to heal itself. We've got the backup. We've even got white paper to prove that the formulations, especially the Balage, has actually done what? And we've shown this to a worldwide audience. We've shown them the actual white paper presentation showing Balage in an in vitro, in vivo test where there were live subjects, and I won't call them subjects, they were volunteers. And what they did was they showed that the ability of the Balage to cause the immune system to raise up 60, 70%, where it could actually, the immune system now could actually stop the onslaught, the growth, the forward movement of all viruses. It stopped influenza A, influenza B. It stopped gastroenteritis. It stopped SARS, and SARS, of course, is the family of COVID. Always has been, always will be. It actually stopped all those viruses. What stopped it? The immune system did. But what was the difference in the placebo and the ones that had the Balage is that the ones with the Balage, their immune system increased 60, 70%. And therefore, the immune system was able to do what? To stop the onslaught, to disintegrate, to cause to disappear, to cause to implode the actual virus. Are you listening to what I'm saying? This is deep, folks. It's real, and you got to get your hands on the right stuff. So call me, Dr. Franco Taylor, again, 901-425-2273, 901-425-2273. We're talking about natural immunity. We're talking about natural wide spectrum antibiotics. We're talking about formulations that literally were designed years and years and years ago for such a time as this. And they are, therefore, that's why I say, why Right Stuff Health? Why Sankey? Why now? Because nothing else out there is going to help you to do this, folks. Even the system, they're telling you, okay? They're telling you that the only help that you actually have. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Very good, sir. Gotcha. 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 Appreciate that. Just got a call from actually the head, the COO at the radio station saying that you folks are calling in wanting to know that number. So I'm going to slow it down and give it to you again. Our phone number is 901-425-2273. There's someone that can answer the phone right now. Some of you have been calling. 901-425-2273. You need to find out how to get your hands on the right stuff. Why Sankey? Why now? Because these formulas, I was blessed to find this company a year and a half ago, right about the time when they started closing down websites, closing down companies like mine, because they didn't want us disseminating what? Foodstuffs and supplements that were actually helping the body to heal itself. It's just that most of those people were saying that it was healing. We've never said that. I've always said that we're going to help the body do what? Heal itself. We're going to show you how to help yourself get well. We don't do any healing. We never claim to. So therefore, God has blessed us. And I thank God for his umbrella over us as we continue to bring you the right stuff. But again, that number is 901-425-2273. Find out how to get your hands on the Clean Sweep Colon Rule to start whatever health program it is, whether it's a weightlifting, whether it's diet, whatever it is, you give us a call. We'll show you how to do that. And we'll show you how to get your hands on the Sankey formulas that start with this flagship, which is called Balage, which actually will help to do what? Completely reboot, restore, regenerate your immune system, flush out the body at the microcellular level, cause your mitochondria, which is the part when COVID comes into the situation, what it does is it attacks the lungs and it attacks the mitochondria. The mitochondria is 70% of your body, and that's your energy cells. That's your battery. It attacks the energy. So what happens in the case of COVID? You're dead. You're tired. You're lethargic. You have no energy because it attacks your batteries. It opens them up and pours all the water and acid. Are you getting what I'm saying? It attacks the stronghold in your body, and then it attacks the lungs, attaches itself to the lungs. So you have no energy, and then you get no oxygen. Guess what? You're in trouble. You're going to get sick, down, and possibly die if you don't do something. So give us a call. We're talking about formulas again that help the body to heal itself. That's the only way that you're going to get well. And why a minute ago I started to tell you that even the system, will end with this, is telling you that only your immune system can heal you, because they're saying that there's synthetic versions of the virus or what have you. Any of those vaccinations are designed to cause your immune system to work better. That's what they're saying. Do you think that man can improve upon what the Creator, the God, has done with all these millions of moving parts in our bodies that all work together synergistically? You think man can do that? Man can't create a living cell. Man can't do any of that. So again, we're closing down on this session, and we thank you for joining us here at the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast here on 90.1 FM on your radio dial every Tuesday from 7 to 8. Hope you've enjoyed it. Give me a call, Dr. Franco Taylor, 901-425-2273. I love you. And until next time, may God bless.